Yeah, but on this same story, I mean, call a gospel blogger Zhikay Ike Jr. Live from Accra. He has expressed some opinion on Facebook, especially, and as on social media platforms about this. And I know say he has a lot to say. Zhikay, me ma wakwa baba jumadi enzo.
Meja usominya.
Pacho bibi aboko die.
Nyamiadom,
me ho ye pa na telling common no background. I know said this week you did a post which has gathered a lot of interest about links. He's not a new signee, isn't it? He is an old signee, but he's been rebranded from gospel to secular. So let me pick your initial thoughts as to what you think about the whole switch, no?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to greet your listeners and also to share some thoughts on the whole agenda. I must say that I was disappointed initially when I saw the information about a switch. Sam, as I call him, he's called AJ Sam. Formerly he was AJ Sam. Then he changed his name again to Sam Oladotun. So it was AJ Sam. Then later it was changed to Sam Oladotun. So the AJ Sam was used when he was doing the music by himself.
Okay.
So when later on Links Entertainment signed him, he changed his name from AJ Sam to Sam Oladotun. All in the name of gospel. And he's somebody that I personally knew. Yeah, I knew him for some time. And I was supporting his stuff. So I was supporting anytime he makes a project, he sends it to me, then I post on social media for him. So he was somebody who had a clear focus to do gospel. So all of us were disappointed when the news came out that he was switching from gospel to secular. So that was, he was going through a rebrand. But then,
Zhikay, let me say. So did you know ahead of time and sana announcement hit social media and I say you just saw it?
Oh, I just saw it. But after the news came out, I think a couple of friends told me that they were even aware because he had already made plans to switch already. And I think that was about months ago. So for some time he wasn't on social media. We weren't seeing much of him. So I think that was the period where he was going through the rebrand stuff.
So does it mean, say, from what you've just said, that means that he was actually, it was a purposeful decision, say, or switchy, but not just a record label, no, sort of influencing him to do that. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think it was a purposeful switch. It wasn't necessarily an influence because the information I gathered from a couple of friends who knew his intentions, tried to talk to him, but I think he knows why he wanted. Initially, I was blaming Links, of which still I stand on my grounds. People are saying that I shouldn't blame Links, and I saw a couple of people bashing me on that premise, but I still stand on my grounds because there is a reason. When Sam was doing gospel under Links Entertainment, we were all optimistic that at least Links Entertainment was going to project a gospel artist.
Yeah.
And Sam is not just any mere person. He's very good vocally.
Absolutely.
He has good songs.
Yes.
Yeah, if you listen to the songs he did, you can see that they were brilliant, excellent songs that could have done well if attention and promotion was given to that song. But unfortunately, Links didn't give that song the relevance. I know they are business people, but once he was on the label, I thought that they could have done better. They weren't giving him much plugins and all of that. Even at the time he was under Links as a gospel artist, some of my people that I know were the ones getting him plugins for events and all of that, of which I know plugins is not a difficult thing for Links. But Links wasn't pulling up for him. So I'm sure, even though it's his personal decision, if he was getting the support, the push and all of that from Links, and he saw that at least they were interested in pushing him as a gospel artist, I think even though it was a purposeful switch, he could have still remained a gospel artist. And that's the premise I'm coming from, that people were bashing me on social media. And if you look at the lines of my conversation critically, you see that I have a point. If Links gave him the relevance and the attention and the support he needed, he would have still maintained, because the kiddies and the kuameeugenes and all of those people were getting the hype and all of. So does it mean that Lynx weren't interested in gospel? A big question mark.
That is interesting. I'll say somebody just sent me. I'll say I'm listening to 87.5 FM. You are talking about something about Trinity Baptist East Legon. What's the discussion about? Don't worry, we'll tell you what the discussion about. So we are currently discussing Sam Oladotun, who is a gospel artist. While he switched from gospel to secular, as it were, no? And his name is Kasar. And we said, sir, Nick, it's on record that he is a member of the Trinity Baptist Choir, and he even leads the choir sometimes. So that is what, if you want what the conversation's about, that is what it is about. So Zhikay, Mamin brought back to you. Some people have also said, it was the wider that said that there is the hypocrisy. In fact, I was listening to Obinate this morning. He did a Facebook Live. Now, sometimes he thinks that there is a hypocrisy in the system within the gospel music fraternity, because but if somebody like ABR Sam, some of the big people who have gone ahead could have give him a pull up, a helping hand, and help him navigate the way. Now, ABR Cayenne back to this point of having the conversation and say, oh, we're switching cause secular, need those things. What do you think? Do you agree with that?
I agree with Obinati 100% when it comes to that statement. There's a lot of hypocrisy in the system, because I think one of my posts, somebody came to write something that's really resonated with me. It was like, if Sam had the attention that we are giving him now, when he was doing gospel, we wouldn't be talking about this conversation at this point in time. And once the story came up, you can see everybody showing disappointment. But the question is, what did we do to help him when he was a gospel artist? What were we doing to support and push him when he was a gospel artist? Every now and then we wait till something happens. Then all of us as an industry, we come out to talk about it. But the thing is, when a person was doing gospel, what did we do individually to push him, to give him the encouragement, to keep pursuing gospel music? So with Obinate's premise about hypocrisy, I believe it's there. And I think this should be an eye-opener for us. Let's be genuine in supporting people. It shouldn't necessarily be what we will get from them, but the support we can give them, it should be very genuine and organic. That should motivate them. Because doing gospel music is not easy, honestly. When you do 1, 2, 3, 4 songs and you are not getting the support,
okay.
Honestly. And I was telling somebody that this is just one person of the many who have probably thought of switching from gospel music. And let's write this thing down. This is just one of the many individuals.
Why do you think, Zhikay? Why? I mean, you are in the space. You've been for a couple of years now. You interface with these artists a lot on a daily basis. So, what do you think is the reason why a lot more people are thinking of switching from from gospel to secular?
We don't have the support systems here in Ghana.
What do we mean by the support system? Is it like the churches? Correct. Is it the pastor? So, what exactly?
So the support systems is a chain of helps that should come to an artist. First of all, any artist who belongs to a church should have an immediate or primarily support from the home where he or she comes from.
Okay.
So if the support is not coming from home, the people feel that they don't have that sense of belongingness. They are using them. There should be that home support for them. Once they are about to release songs, support, their immediate church should be able to support. And this thing is something I wrote about somewhere last year, that the artists who are in their various churches, if not even a record label, the church should be able to give them some sense of hope and support when it comes to their music. Some of them, when they're about to even release songs, the church doesn't even help, not even monetary, but even sharing of their content. For somebody even belongs to a church of about 2,000, but when the person is releasing a song, you hardly find the church even posting or individuals even sharing on Facebook and all of that.
Zhikay, in fact, this particular conversation, I've had it so many times. Now, the feedback I receive most of the time from our church leaders, normally, they say, "Oh, there are a lot of people doing other things in the church, and we can't be supporting everybody. We can't be posting everybody. People are doing businesses and all that kind of thing." So, I mean, I don't know if you would the angle you would come with, is it justified when they say that?
Yeah, it's no. You see, I don't agree to that fact that the church has a lot of people who need help. You see, every artist from a church who is very loyal to the church and is very active with music should be seen as a treasure to the church. Why? Because if the person is flying with the name of the church. Unless the person is not a loyal artist or somebody who is a floating member. But if the person is very consistent and is really dedicated to the things of the church, when a person is moving with the church. For example, Sinach, everybody one way or the other attributes her success to the Christ Embassy Church. So one way or the other, she carries the church, the name of the church, wherever she goes. You get it? So it's a win-win situation. It shouldn't be like there are plenty of people in the church, so we can't help everybody. This is somebody who is not just a mere person, but somebody who is like a figure in the church, who stands in the name of the church. That is just one fragment of the conversation. The second thing, we don't have record labels, gospel record labels. We don't have. Business people are not really investing into
Zhikay, they say it is not profitable. I mean, if you're talking about business, then definitely there has to be some form of profit associated with, unless we are looking at philanthropy or we are looking at we have read is a charity. But the business people are saying it is not profitable because now, as you are aware, you need a lot of, it's a numbers game. You need your friend is saying a lot of streams, a lot of views, and all for these digital numbers to make business sense. And I know that the secular people still do it because they do the investment and they get it. But I think the question some of these business people ask themselves, they say, how much would they have to pump in and what number of years would they have to realize their investment back? So it's quite scary for them. If I can play the advocate here, it's quite scary for them. So that is the reason why. But I mean, I don't know if there is any businessman listening there who can send us a message and let us know why they are not really pushing. I remember Kwesi starting somewhere about a year or two ago. He made this statement on the Christian Entertainment review show with Ninoy, and Oka said there was a business person who approached him and said, me want X amount of money, bring me a business plan, and I'm an artist, and can you guarantee me returns within some particular number of years? In fact, he said he scratched his head and he knew that wasn't a possibility. And I don't know if the situation about the Christian label, that is an independent from the church would work. For me, Zhikay, I would tell you what I would suggest is that the church, with the economy it has, rather going into that space where they are creating their own labels and stuff. And I'm seeing some exciting things from ICGC, Christ Temple, some I think Keeper's House, and some few others have started something. I don't know how far they go, the professionalism associated with it, but at least we've started seeing something. Do you think it's encouraging though?
I think it's a step in the right direction. When some of the artists heard about this, it has given them hope. With the likes of Potter's Music, we have Keeper's House Music, we have ICGC also coming with a label, and Harvest Praise, they are also coming up with a label. So I think right now we have about 4 churches who have come up to announce their intention to support artists. But most of them have not really opened it up to, let's say, individual artists to come on board. Mostly is for their church choir.
Okay.
Most of the labels is for their church choir. So even though they've announced it to be a record label, that's a gospel or Christian record label, it's not really opened to the public that much. I know of Harvest Praise, who we went for a press lunch, and they said for DS is opened to individual artists who have talents and they see that they could really make impact, they are open to support them. But as I said, it's very, very early for us to judge whether it's going to work or it's not going to work. But from the time those labels were announced, honestly, I've not really seen any active work done. Let's be honest.
Right.
I've not really seen any active work done. So I don't know whether it's the choir that is not pulling up, or they are just not ready to just fulfill what they said. Yeah.
Maybe we'll try and get. I'll try and get a hold of some of them. Porters, Keepers Music, Pastor Edwin Moore from Christ Temple. For them to tell us a bit more about their intention and strategy in this space. But quickly, let's round up with on Sam or Kasar's issue. How do you think the church community would receive, or his new persona? And I am asking this because, like I said on the show, and one of my my guests in the studio said he's a member of a church where he leads the choir and everything. And just when I saw how he's been rebranded, the form of image he's been made to take, I'm thinking that how is the church, his local church, even going to accept his new persona? Is he still going to be allowed to be leading the choir? Is he still going to be allowed to be ministering in church? What are some of the challenges you see with that? Oh, it looks like Zhikay Kakra. But Apostle, yeah.
In some non-wedding, and there are a whole lot of things that I also about Kasar issues. No, now I think say.
Hello.
Okay,
yeah.
Zhikay is back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I get your question really well, but I would say that this is the time that we have to support Sam and give him that love. You see, the best way to really talk to someone, or the best way to really transform someone, is not a rebuke, but it's love. A typical example, when the prodigal son left his father had every reason to be angry, but his father still had that sense of love for him to come back and was expecting him to come back one day. I think some of us are too judgmental when it comes to receiving people who are, in quotes, seen to be in the secular space. But one way or the other, all of us are connected to secular institutions one way or the other, because some jobs we work and things we do and companies we are associated with are not, in quotes, owned by pastors or other people, but owned by secular people. Yes, so we find ourselves in those spaces. So I believe that in as much as Sam has, or let's say Kasar is now a secular artist, we shouldn't write him off. No. We should also know that he still has some bit of God in him. This is the time we should remember him in prayers and keep supporting him.
Zhikay, you know what? Let me chip this in at this time. Actually, I've just realized say the message that I had actually is coming from senior pastor, Kasar senior pastor. Mama Cynthia. Actually, she's listening to the show. And so when she heard Trinity Baptist East Legon, I didn't realize a message, but I was trying to find out who sent the message, and then I've just realized where they say, Mommy, I think this appeal can go to her directly. The man about who here extra attention, TLC, tender loving care. And Zhikay, over to you. Mommy, you.
Yeah, so as I said, this is the time we should show him love. We should know that Sam still have the love of God in him. He still have a bit of God in him. For all we know, Sam was influenced by the desire or the quest to make ends meet, not necessarily doing a switch.
Okay.
So all I'll say is we shouldn't judge him. We shouldn't look down on him. Akwabwa plays active role in his church, but yes, still he does secular music.
Yeah,
he's somebody who really, if you get closer to Akwabwa, you see that he really, really loves God. And trust me, most hit songs that we've seen in the gospel space, I don't want to mention names, but were written by Akwabwa and Kwabna. But yes, so we see them in the secular space. So, in as much as our brother has taken a new route, we should love him. We should show kindness to him. We should give him a reason why he should keep loving on God. For all you know, he might have a new change of mind again and come back, like how the prodigal son left his father and came back. This is not the time to point fingers at him and to write him off and ridicule him that he has done wrong, so he doesn't belong to the church. Mind you, all of us, we have our skeletons in our cupboards, but maybe it is Sam who has really shown his public.
Wow.
His has been a switch, but there's somebody in the church who has not necessarily done a switch, but they might be doing something that is far, far, far outrageous, or something that we might even see it condemning than probably what some people see in quotes that Kasar has done. He has not done anything that we should point finger and push him off. This is the time we should pull him. For all you know, the more we are showing him more love, we will really demonstrate and feel the love of God stronger once again. So this is the time we need to show Kasar more love.
Wow, yeah. Zhikay, you've spoken really well. Let me give you a very reassuring message, because I've just had feedback from Pastor C. Say he was going to the church would look for Sam, and then they would actually engage with him. And he's even further said that she heard that he was in church 2 weeks ago, so he's not entirely an issue. Say his branch. I know one of the prayers people are making. So say this space comes with a lot of challenges. A lot of things pull you to do things so that you will fit in. Into I think say it's very reassuring. And Moby, thank you for doing this. Say the church would actually look for Sam and engage with him and see where he goes.
What kind of mystery? The church would look for Sam. If I say some not necessarily say like he's lost. Until last 2 weeks ago, so bad. Sorry. But when in the terms of Kofano, we are going to get him back. But no, now how many years of man signing? How much and whatever you Eddie Pochi.
Oh, Nasane yet me paying off. Well, that's
so, and are they ready to do that?
I don't know. There might be another way. And I see. I don't think if the church.
I think that they should have it in mind. Say, Sam is still a member of the church.
Okay.
But that's why o Christo ni oba sorry. But na doma chede ni unim. Adie ba kwa na meetie Zhikay interviews na they make and say. Most of the times, problem back where Christopher na say, "I sorry ne wa ma wo muntumi mbu ankrofo no." Most of the times, they feel say, "Or the ma quantify makwa." Also, the ministry is free, but the logistics for the ministry it's not free.
You know what? I want to do something now. Let's put some context to this conversation. Zhikay, I have a song by Sam. I'm bought right now. And then we'll come back, and then I'll also play his latest track, and we'll come back. So Sam, Zhikay, I'm playing this. This is 12 minutes past 1 o'clock here on Rainbow Radio, 92.4 FM in London, 87.5 FM in Accra, Ghana. I'm around this time. It's 13 degrees Celsius. Whether na Accra, but Accra, the number 29 degrees Celsius. But stay hydrated. And more aircon. No, ya na wa mo be left. Kana so be no mabontia. Charlie man left na no correct. So KK, one or two comments before some cause Zhikay hona ya call round up on Kasar issue.
So Zhikay, I made some comments on his post. Say there are a lot of elements involved in this. Now Zhikay can say to him, Zhikay was saying, he's struggling to make ends meet into maybe that side is lucrative for him. That's why hence the switch. But also what he said, that is another side of him, another talent of him, and he's exhibiting. We can look at that angle as well.
Yeah. Or evolving. Or
maybe he's evolving. We don't know. And I think we've been too quick to judge. Yeah. I wanted to hear something from him personally or from the record labels. Okay, this is why we are switching. But at the end, we all know the problem in the gospel industry. And I'm there and we know what is happening. The support, we lack so much support, the facilities and everything. we are lacking.
Yeah.
It could also be say it wasn't working for him
Yeah.
in the gospel industry, and the record label decided to rebrand him.
But as
His
we've
own
heard,
personal
Nikeke, as
choice.
we've heard, say, the rebranding, there's something that he himself had meditated, so premeditated, and then decided to go for. The record label will support him whichever direction they feel will be profitable in the end, isn't it?
Yeah, so meaning that's his own decision, maybe we'll realize him and say, okay, maybe there's another side of me I can give to Ghanaians, I can give to the world, so why not? Why there is
feeling as you know.
Okay.
And then the mommy feeling as you know. Now see Babontin because more beyond target so a gospel musician. He is a musician. Oh, who they say a children yakupon dia mano. Look, if God is not God of all, then he's not Lord at all. Intino o ma adoma chedia na person or the mouse for serve you bia.
That one I don't
for inspiration.
No,
but for
that one I don't agree with.
Win him for inspiration.
Yeah.
Till gift no the amount obi bia the one, but to inspire.
In marketing, there is something called segmentation. There's something called targeting.
And until I see by I was saying. Men no gospel artist can say a musician na do much no dey serve you bia intino o pese obonye me be serve wa no why worship bia wo Kristo ni no wo so mo o dey ko no why ba ko e for do ho a obi suso ma na ma na wari aso.
I don't agree. We will come back to this conversation. The man kon Zhikay ho na ono da ye ho ho na Zhikay. So I think say we've exhausted this one quite much, but my question on the flip side, I posted this morning, say Iona Reigns, you know her, don't you?
Please, who?
Iona Reigns, so no.
Yeah.
Right. I was asking, say, she didn't get that much talkability. Your bar say was switching from secular to gospel. She released a single. I mean, I'll play it. A fantastic song, but as a gospel for no Christian community, rather no, we think say, some ye gospel was switch to secular obia can want some. What could be the reasons, Zhikay? Because on our blogging space, I mean,
you are trying to put me at a tight corner, but I'll answer it brilliantly.
Pacho, go ahead.
So. You see, in Ghana itself, negative news sells really fast.
Okay.
Much. So it's very easy for people to do clicking when they see negative stories, to see exactly what is wrong. So I would say that one is also a contributing factor why Psalms 1 really went viral, because people think it's not really a good news for him to switch from gospel to secular. So therefore, let's talk about it.
Okay.
On the other side, I think we also didn't do well by giving the lady a fair share of publicity. Honestly, for that, I'll blame all of us for not doing, because that is a good news. Who knows, if we gave that story more relevance, probably it can even influence other people into coming into the same space. When we broke the news about Sam's issue, there is this artist in US who also came to announce that he has also switched from gospel to secular.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
For all you know, how Sam's issue got the attention influenced him to also come up to equally receive his fair share of the attention. So I think we've not been fair to the lady, and I think right after this call, I would speak to a couple of people I know, and we will also create some buzz around the lady's switch to gospel. I think it's fair enough for us to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad you've said that. Quickly before you go, there has been some few issues on VGMA. The nominations list came out. I think the gospel is very well represented, like we always wanted to. But one or two issues came out. The first one being, say, Arabna, her nomination as Best New Artiste, received some interrogation because it is said that she hasn't. She's not new entirely. She's had a song in the past that has gained some publicity or some public relevance. So the question I personally asked is that hasn't the VGMA goofed that I received my fair share of backing? But what do you think about that particular nomination?
When it comes to awards, I used to have my own reservations when it comes to category definitions.
Okay. So
sometimes we might sit somewhere and say maybe the person is not maybe qualified or qualified. But truth is, sometimes the way we define categories is different from how the award scheme or the board defines their category. So a Rabina is not a new artist. That one hands down. I would say Rabina is a legend. Yeah. I'll put her in that box.
Right.
Because she has released songs that has really blessed the gospel industry years back.
Okay.
That's traditional music. She was in that era of traditional music. But for some time she went quiet and she's now coming back into modern contemporary gospel system.
Right.
Or music. I would say she's not entirely new, but based on how dormant she has been for years and coming back into the new modern contemporary gospel system, maybe VGMA might categorize her as a new artist based on the definitions they have with their awards. So I would be able to say yes or no when I know the category definition, of which I've requested for it.
Oh, category definition in there, and category definition there. Let me see if because Deborah was on the show. He, in his updates for us, he even mentioned this story, and then I think I put it up. Let me see if I can read that for you. But like you've said rightly, sometimes the definition maybe there one more definition and Kasar
it doesn't emphasize kind so.
Yeah, maybe one more and I'm not too sure if when they were doing the categorization they paid attention so much because he wouldn't have gotten this
also because Uncle Datsun Obi Tom Benku.
But Rabina herself is not a new artist. That one.
That's it. Obi Tom Benku for 4 years. Now wakono sisiano the way our name kono face the wall no edging. Now for what if Benku beton kunkunta. Now ye beba awards for more 20 and now the nakwa kose new cook. And I say,
so Mami
chef of the year.
For the benefit of this conversation, Mami Kaibium, he said the best new artist. This is according to VGMA4 website. Wama listed the different categories. This is number 7. Best new artist. So I see the best new artist is the artist adjudged by the Academy Board and general public as the most promising and talented emerging artist. Yes. The award goes to a relatively new artist who released a single EP album.
You don't even have to read further.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The most promising emerging artist.
No. A Rabina is not emerging, not at all.
I think they need to redefine the category again.
Also they should come out and tell us, Ghana for your mistake, new artist of the year category, no, ABI, Bibi Kakram Fanchen, no money number, because a Rabina no shahon there, or never.
Maybe new song of the year.
Yeah.
Maybe new song of the year.
Exactly.
No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Let me read some Minister OJ, the legendary OJ, OTA, or say I'm watching your program, quite educated. Also, thank you very, very, very much.
Good.
And Lady Adjuan so say Sam hasn't renounced God. He's probably still the same Christian he's been deep down. We shouldn't make him an outcast because of the switch. I think if he's in church and have to lead praise and worship, then why not? My advice to him will be to still draw close to God and to avoid drinks and drugs. That is the
thing. Because line do kofa hodi a not say ya sem yaba because nkofo mienu mi nse bi wono ma say dem to apa was ni twom chima e wo Rainbow Entertaiment so. Yeah.
The number
Because-
to Zhikay Pachimamfa number into your person send a message at 0777195089. 0777195089. UTM from Accra. No one say Ode platform for no beka hona. That is your WhatsApp line. Wait me your voice note. Wait me send a message. Your bejo so a homan so I think so. The number to call no or Accra for platform for and I'll be my friend WhatsApp. But 0208-133-4646. Zhikay Pacho, let me come to you for your.
Then I make us say, once I make a baby say, this is the time we have to pray for Sam. Obinat is super sure something like that. Say he doesn't really want him to do drugs, so we should pray for him. That's a very slippery area when we are talking about it, because about 2 days ago, people came to bash Kuameeugene because he made some statement when he started circular on your tattoos and all of that. But 2 days ago, he posted a picture with tattoo on his hand, and people are really, really showing disappointment in what he said some time ago. And so America said we need to pray. When it comes to drugs and drinks and those things, you see, with time, when you are getting more exposure to certain things, one way or the other, you might be influenced. Honestly, exposure idea, it really, really influences people a lot. So let's pray that once he has decided to take that turn and start to get new exposure in certain fields, who knows, some Yuma Bayer hit. You say, your friend or night clubs, your friend or pubs. That's the areas we should be praying. Say he will not be influenced by those environments and those things.
Okay.
Because exposure no never had
Heti Koji Utiye from US of A. Also, good show and great conversation. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work as well. Zhikay, final one before you go. Still on VGMA. There's the avalanche of your friends and call on social media. Say Piesie Esther has been nominated as the Artiste of the Year. Say in the Artiste of the Year category. And Christopher, everybody. One some, Chobwe, yay.
Artist of the Year.
And Koji, is that a realistic expectation? And is there a realistic call considering the contenders in this category?
Honestly, let me be frank.
But you'll
very
be frank.
Difficult. Yeah, it will be very difficult. I'm not saying like she will not win, but let's be realistic. It's going to be difficult. Let's look at the people she's contending with. Me, all the other people there, they don't matter to me. But one person, Black Sheriff.
Yeah.
Last year like this, people were expecting Black Sheriff to win the Artist of the Year, but unfortunately he couldn't win. The year under review, Black Sheriff has really, really proved relevance with singles, albums, touring all over the world, collaborations and all of that. I know it's a numbers game, 100%. Maybe when it comes to vote, the way we are rallying behind Piesie and all of that, she might get the vote. But the academy and the other people who also bring certain decisions into play might also influence the voting system. It's a very good agenda for Piesie. I think we started this same agenda for Diana Hamilton, and it really worked for her. Anything is possible, but from where I sit, it's going to be a very difficult task. Honestly,
Zhikay, I have a question.
But it's going to be difficult.
I have a question. I will not be popular for asking this question, and I think I may receive a bit of bashing, but I'll still ask anyway. Doesn't such calls, doesn't it make a gospel music fraternity look desperate for sort of an authentications of our music or our genre within Ghana? Say, as a here validation, be say, okay, let's rally gospel new Artist of the Year. Then I said the Ghana gospel industry now has arrived. Be say, God, I don't see that happening with the other Nkofo. So I don't know. That's my critical question, though, Zhikay.
So when it comes to award schemes, for some years now, when it comes to mileage, the gospel has not really enjoyed mileage when it comes to award schemes.
Okay.
So I think we are all excited about the fact that now, when it comes to representation, Ghanaian gospel music is fairly getting a representation. Not necessarily a validation though, but we are all excited about the representation that we are having now when it comes to award schemes. At the latter part of the conversation, or let me say at the bigger picture, what it's doing is really encouraging and making people accept the fact that they are being accepted. But this is a capital BUT. That shouldn't be a reason for us to be lobbying or supporting people. It's not all about the awards. It's about the song making an impact.
Okay.
And really making a difference. So it shouldn't be that we want, maybe in quotes, as you said, validation that, oh, yes, no. When Obi Kasim says, good things speaks for itself. So that is what we should be doing. We should be providing the quality sounds, giving our song the necessary promotion that it needs. It will speak by itself, but we don't really have to push our way through. As you said, it will make us very desperate. As we are vulnerable, say, pay awards. And I will say this, let's not give people too much of hope. Let's leave everything to system and let system work. The more we are giving people hope that they deserve this, and they don't win, we've disappointed them.
I really like. Pacho, what Obi Fre WhatsApp line? No, I'm on it with our guest. Pacho, hold on. Yebeje so late, a bit later. We are on the line with our guest. Zhikay, I really like this one that you've said. It's sitting very well with me because I'm thinking that Jometo is in the same category, but I think they're thinking, they say, oh, Joe, we need that. Young rally behind Piesie, Winnie. But in fact, if you do critical analysis with the songs that have been released, just even gathering the numbers from streams and social media and audience response now, I mean, critically, Kadosh is way ahead of it. So like we are saying, I just said, so I like the point that you've just made. Say, let's allow the systems to work and let's not give false hope. At the end of the day, disappointments, but
yes, sir.
Zhikay, your final words before I let you go. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. So all I would say is, you are doing an amazing job. We've been watching from home, and we see you're also doing very well for the gospel industry. And to all your panel members, I want to appreciate them for making this show very, very educative and exciting. But then I would say that let's all support the industry. We have talent here who are very good. We'll use Kasar as a case study because he was the reason for this conversation.
Absolutely.
All I would say is, let's support talent. Let's support people genuinely. We shouldn't see them switch. We shouldn't see them, die before we let people know how relevant they were and how good they were. Let's all give people the necessary attention they need, especially when it comes to talent. Let's support them. Myself, I've learned a lot from it, and I'm sure most of us, we've learned a lot from this incident. Let's give people the necessary attention they need and the support they need, so that they'll have a sense of hope to keep pursuing whatever assignment God has given them. So I think that's the little I would say.
Awesome. Zhikay, thank you very much. And Pacho, handles will sites wait me at the Tujama because we love to follow what you're doing.
Okay. So my personal page is Zhikay Ike Jr. Zhikay Ike Jr. ZHIKAY, then Ike Jr. And gospel to me is my Christian blog. Gospel.
And Pacho, Obi will message you hammer why? What's it then? What's it?
Zhikay, KK mention it. Maybe be home for promotion and all that. Some message you and say where you when you be sad.
When me who boss, then me who Pacho send me hi ni number.
We are promoting the gospel on this note no. One account.
Pacho, I say we won't go backstage now. Right, Zhikay. So Pacho, for to January,
Okay, so gospel to me on all platforms. Gospel number 2 ME on all platforms, and as Zhikay Ike Jr. on all platforms. So gospel to me is for gospel content, and the Zhikay Ike Jr. is for social issues.
Right. We shall for Zhikay Ike Jr., CEO, Gospel to Me, gospel blogger, as your friend saying, Obono Homodi. Zhikay, thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. We shall for Rainbow Entertaiment 92.4 FM in London, DAB across the UK, 87.5 FM. One with you are crying in just from you should be able to call us now if